You're a revenue leader, chief revenue officer, VP of sales, senior director of sales, and you are solving problems. But there's a good chance you don't have a revenue problem. In reality, you have a clarity problem, a control problem, an execution problem, potentially all three. Revenue does not break because people are lazy or incompetent, not at scale. At scale, it breaks because strategy lives in decks, execution lives in people's minds, not maps, and accountability lives nowhere. Forecasts are missing, reps are all selling differently, marketing and sales argue instead of align, and leadership meetings become debates about numbers instead of decisions. You've hired smart people, you bought the tools, you tried the playbooks, the consultants, the frameworks, and yet revenue still feels fragile. That is not a talent issue, that's a systems issue. I'm Luke Shepard. I've led revenue teams with real P&L responsibility. Enterprise tech, mid-market growth companies, board pressure, numbers that actually matter to the livelihood of these companies. And I've watched good companies stall, not because they lacked effort, but because they lacked a revenue operating system. Vector Revenue Group exists for one reason: to turn revenue from a guessing game into a controlled system. We don't sell advice, we design and implement a revenue operating system. A system that creates clarity in messaging, momentum in execution, relevance in the field, and intensity without burnout. Our work is built on two primary frameworks. The first is WARMAP: white space, alignment, rep motion, and map. This is how we define who you should sell to, your go-to-market. Align leadership and teams internally, engineer your field motion, track execution against it. Second, Samurai, CMRI: clarity, momentum, relevance, intensity, how your sellers sell. Together, they turn into something your team can actually run. Here's what makes Vector different. We don't leave you with ideas. We leave you with systems. Documented, operational, owned by your team. No dependency, no theater. When this works, forecast tighten. Reps know exactly who to target and how. Marketing supports sales motion instead of guessing. Leaders manage and coach with confidence. Revenue becomes predictable, and predictable revenue changes how companies operate. If this resonates, here's the next step. We start with a WARMAP workshop. We take a deep look at your revenue system, expose friction, and build a clear execution path. No pressure, no pitch deck, just clarity. Click below and let's see if Vector is the right fit.